Alright, let's get real for a second. You've heard of Newton, right? The apple guy. The gravity dude. The motion tends to stay in motion fella. But have you ever wondered how much this genius actually took from the world? Not in terms of knowledge or scientific breakthroughs, but in cold, hard cash. I mean, think about it. He was a professor, right? Professors get paid. And he was a pretty big deal, so he probably made decent bank. But was he rolling in dough? Was he buying fancy cars and mansions? Or was he more of a simple life kind of guy, donating all his money to charity? Let's dive into this. First off, let's talk about the 17th century economy. It was a different world. There were no credit cards, no ATMs, and definitely no crypto. Gold was king. So, how much was a professor making back then? Well, it wasn't exactly six figures. More like £6, maybe? A year. If you were lucky. But Newton wasn't just any professor. He was at Cambridge University, one of the top schools in the world, even back then. So, he probably got a little bump in pay. Plus, he had some side hustles. Like, he was the warden of the Royal Mint. That's basically the CEO of money-making back then. So, yeah, he was probably doing all right. But let's talk about his expenses. Rent in Cambridge wasn't cheap, even back then. And let's not forget about food. Apples don't grow on money trees, you know? And then there's the whole discovering gravity thing. That had to cost something. Maybe he had to buy a new telescope or something. So, after we factor in his income and expenses, what are we left with? Well, it's hard to say for sure. But I'm guessing Newton wasn't exactly Scrooge McDuck. He probably lived comfortably, but he wasn't swimming in gold coins. Now, some people might argue that his true wealth was his knowledge. And they'd be right. But we're talking about cold, hard cash here. And based on what we know, Newton was probably more of a middle-class guy than a millionaire. But hey, maybe he had secret investments. Maybe he was a big-time gambler. Who knows? The truth is, we'll probably never know for sure how much Newton was worth. But that's okay. Because the real value of Newton isn't in his bank account. It's in his mind. The laws of motion, gravity, calculus, that's worth way more than any amount of money. So, the next time you're wondering how much money you need to be happy, remember Newton. He was a genius, a legend, and probably not that rich. And he did all right. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.